Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest death and destruction this side of East Yorkshire. There's no other way to put it, really. We are going to go through every single individual faction and see what their super weapons look like. Late game stuff in Ultimate Apocalypse, which is quite exciting. We'll start with the Imperial Guard, purely because I do believe that they are one of the most popular factions in most versions of Dawn of War. So, if you yesterday or today even, I did a poll to see who would be the most likely targets for our target practice. Sadly, when I'm doing this dev testing mode, I can only make it work on random races, and this video is going to be quite a long time for me to have to edit and record, so we're going random, baby. So the Imperial Guard are going to be blowing up a whole bunch of Raven Guard. How exciting is that? So, Nuclear Weapons Center, that is where the Imperial Guard get most of their new super weapons. An option of 3. Super weapon nuclear missile, that's like late tier. We'll go through that later. But we'll start with the small ones, and we'll build our way up to bigger and badder. So we'll start with what I think is probably like the least impressive, the electromagnetic supermassive pulse. It's non-lethal but devastating electromagnetic pulse blast. The designated target cripples all machinery and production capabilities. So basically, it's mainly for like stopping all the opponent's buildings. But we'll stick it on these Raven Guard anyway. We'll see what happens to them. In fact, actually, let me get a dynamic cinematic view here. Look at that. Big old explosion. These Space Marines don't mind it. It's got like a little morale damage to them, but generally, these guys are vibing with that. So you'll also notice that the cooldown for these is quite a long time. So the reason why this video will take so long to actually edit is because I now need to restart the game, rebuild everything, and do all that stuff. So by the power of magic and by the power of editing. Hey, so look at that. For you, it was about half a second. For me, it's about 2.5 minutes. You can tell by the estimated time lapse. So, you know, if you appreciate the effort I'm putting into the video, remember to like and subscribe, please. For the love of God, share it with all your best friends. Share it with your nan for all I care. So anyway, that was the electromagnetic supermassive pulse that'd be more effective on vehicles and buildings and stuff. Let's see what the satellite particle cannon works. We'll read through the tooltips, but I think it's a lot better if we just see it happen itself. Big old beam comes down. Look at this guy. And you're able to control it. That's amazing. It's like, I mean, that's just great, isn't it? More or less kill Space Marines in quick dash. These guys are coming out. I will say, no, thank you, young man. You can go straight back. And bearing in mind as well that Space Marines have got ridiculously high. I mean, what, 2 models is 2.5, well, more or less 2.5 health, which is like, that's what, like 2 heroes for an individual faction. So these guys have got a lot of health going, and you saw then just how quickly it was able to melt through all those guys. So nice little, this is, you don't even need a relic for this, you just kind of just build up to the end game and have it. Great stuff. Alright then, so let's finish up with the Imperial Guard with their massive super weapon nuclear missile. It's exactly what it says on the tin. Big, huge explosion that kills absolutely everything. Get a little bit of a curve into this. Maybe zoom out a bit just to appreciate the whole massive explosion. Look at that. That's just like a huge area of effect. And also, like, it affects the buildings all the way around everything as well. So let's witness the fitness, shall we? Look at that. Death and destruction. Even people coming out from all this direction as well. No one's having a good time. Nice little radiation kind of thing going on. And a smoke effect as well. Bloody gorgeous stuff. Yeah, not bad at all whatsoever. Now, with that being the final super weapon of the Imperial Guard, the Imperial Guard also have one additional kind of thing that they've got going for themselves, and that is the Basilisk Magnus, which is this huge superstructure, which on a map this small... Oh, we can fit, let's fit it there, why not? Sit it in that, that choke point, shall we? Now, hold fire for a moment, young man. So this is basically a huge structure that fires artillery, which is quite nice. I've got our Space Marines here, so we'll probably fire at them. Now, you can also upgrade these guys with Apocalypse rounds, which are basically highly atomic nuclear, able to lay waste according to the tooltip. So we'll research that. And just look at that. So now we've got that option on. Let's turn ceasefire off. We'll fire at this squad of Space Marines. It will start to have a little think once it's got its target. And yeah, it's ridiculously strong, I have to say. Three, two, one, give us a blast. And look at that. One shot, that entire squad of Space Marines, and all the smoke going on around there as well. Able to really quickly destroy just anything it touches. So, not technically like a super weapon, but later on in the game, you get one of these, you get two of these, you can, there's no limit as far as I'm aware. So, yeah, the Imperial Guard, their super weapons, while nothing too incredibly fancy, they do what it says on the tin. They get the job done. It's, I will explode you to high heavens, which is exactly, I think, what the God Emperor of Mankind would want. So that's Imperial Guard. Let's move on to the next faction. Alright, so here we are with the Space Marines. Now, they get a lot of their super weapons from the Nuclear Weapons Center, very similar to how the Imperial Guard do their things. So, straight up, they have access to the Satellite Particle Cannon, the Nuclear Missile, and the Electromagnetic Supermassive Pulse. One difference is that they're able to get their Nuclear Missile without the need for a critical location, so keep that in mind. But they've also got a couple of other options. They've got the super weapon Iron Curtain, which basically keeps everything non-infantry-esque alive. So if I research this, they've got the Emperor's Armory, which I think is a new addition to the most recent patch for Ultimate Apocalypse. So we'll research that bad boy. We'll be all in there. So Iron Curtain, essentially I select an area, and now in theory, these all should do some sort of shimmer and glimmer. Because I think this looks a lot more intimidating than I thought. Oh god. But yeah, that should keep everything that's non-infantry alive, which is something I expected. Oh, it's a big dome. Right, that makes sense. Christ, I was it looked like as if like the Eye of Terror itself was descending upon the Space Marine base here. But okay, fair enough. You know, I've changed your bed sheets. That was not quite terrifying. Anyway, so we've also got one more other option, which is the Emperor's Artifact Protocol Battlefleet Gothic. So what this does is that it's basically, if the nuclear weapon center is kept alive, it will be able to call in the Battlefleet in orbit to bombard all locations on this deemed heresy planet. So we're in dev mode here, so everything researches quite quickly, but this will happen quite a lot quicker than. Yeah, it won't happen as quickly as in your normal games. This is basically a win button, as it says here in the second part of the tooltip. Allows the use of the Protocol Battlefield Gothic win button. So we'll press it, and we'll just see what a win button looks like in this game. There we go, you see it's researching in there, and look at that. That's just, it'll find any area in the game which looks like enemy bad stuff, and it will just destroy it with wonderful impunity. Destroys one HQ, and then decides, oh, well, there's another one over here. So we'll now destroy this. But obviously, now it's firing down there. Can I actually move? I can move you. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. So here we go. Just send them all whichever way you want. That is redonkulous. But like I say, quite an expensive piece of kit. It takes a long time to research. But once you've researched it, my goodness, my gracious. And then, oh, then it just ends with that side of the map being on fire. So yeah, short and sweet, but that is the Space Marine super weapons. Okay, right, we'll go on to the next one then. Alright then, moving on to the Sisters of Battle. You will notice that they've got a missile silo, which has all the features that the, not Imperial Guard, sorry, the Space Marines have. Satellite Particle Cannon, etc., etc., also with their Iron Curtain in tow. They've got one or two extra things on top of that as well. One thing being mainly the God Emperor's Castle. It's work in progress, not final version. But essentially it does a whole bunch of stuff. It produces living sins and archangels at a much faster rate. Does it have a firing capability? We'll find out. It sounds like something that should have some turrets on. If not, it's still quite a fancy thing to look at the very least. Look at that, there we go. able to get all the gubbins. Fortified bunker. Do you do anything? Oh, you're even bigger. Ah, there we go. And you've got some shooty bits as well. Looks very Egyptian, I have to say. Look, it makes me think of it's like Egyptian-style walls and Christian Gothic in the middle. Either way, wonderful wombo combo of stuff. Also, flaming death emplacements, which does stuff, I imagine. But yeah, not amazing damage, but it still looks quite cool. But yeah, so looking at the Sisters win button, so the Divine Scrolls of the Heavens issues a decree of purgation manifestation, allows the use of the Rain of Fire win button. So I need 100,000 faith. What do you mean I need 100,000 faith? Right, well hold on then. Come on, the more of you die, the more faith I get. That's how it works. Just accept your death. Not for the Emperor, but for the views, gosh darn it. Die for the views! Oh, right, well, Jesus Christ, but... about 10 minutes later, and several dead sisters, and we've finally got to the amount of faith that we require for the win button. So yeah, let me just look at the size of the area effect for that. So let's see how much damage this bad boy can bring to the table. Look at that, fire and destruction, wide spanning, no one singular large building, or one singular large explosion, but that is quite some range on that bad boy. Does it do amazing damage to the buildings? But actually, that's a little... How long do you last for? Is that just like forever and ever? I mean... Oh, right, yeah, no, fair enough. Okay, so there was a bit of a warm-up. A little bit of a warm-up, and then it destroys even us. Which, truly, is that not... Who wins in this situation, then? Who's the victor? What if we unite the enemy? Does the opponent also say the same thing? Is this the closest thing we can get to a draw in Dawn of War here? Let's look around the map before continuing. Yeah, that is just pure fire. No matter how close you get, that is just absolute chaos. So even though you have to put a lot of effort into gaining the resources to get this super weapon, it kills everything. So fair play to them. Fair play indeed. Right, okay, next faction. Alright, so the Inquisition Demon Hunters, again, I think all the Imperial factions have a very similar kind of vibe to them. They've got the nuclear weapon center with the 3 standard super weapons, but they've also got the Apocalypse super weapon, Exterminatus. How exciting is that? Now, to research this, there are like 5 different bloody layers of things to go through, all different requirements at each stage, so I'll go through them really quickly, but just so you know, the Exterminatus, much like the Sisters endgame weapon, requires a lot more. I feel like as if that the Space Marine one requires a lot less effort than the Sisters and the Demon Hunters. But we'll see what it looks like. Alright then, so what I've done is that I've also built a tower up Cadre headquarters down here with the hopes that I'll aim the thing here. Look, we've got all our tower people here. They're just chilling out. We'll destroy this area in the hopes that the aftershock kills this a little bit later, so we can actually see more of what this ability looks like. So, oh, actually, is there anything else? Oh, Iron Cat, and that's what that research was for. Okay, so Exterminatus, let's kick back and enjoy the view, shall we? Look at... Yeah, that's exactly what I expected. Look at that. That wasn't even half a second before I just destroyed absolutely everything on the map. I would have done it on a bigger map, just so we could appreciate the explosions a little bit more. But no, the game for some reason won't let me do dev mode on a bigger map or with more factions. But yeah, you could. That's exactly what it says on the tin. That's a nuclear explosion times a bajillion million. Very aesthetically pleasing as well, just that big round circle of goodness. Yeah, nice one. Okay, I do believe that is all the Imperial factions, so let's move on to a different theme of factions, shall we? Okay then, so moving on to the Chaos Space Marines. Now, they get their big bads from the Desecrated Castle. They've got 2 super weapons, one being the Warp Storm and one being the Warp Storm of World End. Quite similar abilities. First one being the Warp Storm. This is the first one that is available to you. Main features of this is that not only does it destroy everything in the area generally, but also for the first bit of it, it drives all the enemies mad, so they'll attack each other. So we've got the Inquisition here, which is actually, for once, quite an appropriate enemy to test drive this weapon on. So we'll just see how the enemy go against themselves. Look at that. Madness. Look how they're all going up against the middle person. There we go, the madness of the warp coming on them. Got a big thing in the middle to summon the warp storm. Everyone's chilling out now, and now warp storm erupts. A nice little area in the middle. Quite tasty. I'm not sure why the fog of war is not turned off for me. I'm not entirely sure, but such is the wicked way of chaos, I imagine. I do love this effect. Like, if you were like POV, you are an Imperial, you're looking around yourself, this is bloody rubbish. This is not a good time to be fighting for the Emperor as the warp storms go about you and you're surrounded by all this floor lasagna. Not good at all. So, okay, let's test out the next weapon. Alright then, so here we are. So we've got the super weapon Warp Storm of the World End. Now, if you remember, if you were around for when I did the 5-man free-for-all must have been a while ago, we saw this. Essentially, it summons the biggest warp storm you've ever did see in your life, destroys everything in the area, and anything that doesn't survive, well, don't you worry, because all these like little warp portals open. We can summon demons through. Those demons are just quite good, so we'll just summon it. I've built up a small Inquisitor base inside the Chaos base in the hope that maybe it will let us watch this a little bit longer than the previous game. So I'll stick this way over here, and we'll see what it does. I'll even watch it from the perspective of Inquisition. So yeah, it's going to make them mad like it did before. Little ball of badness coming forth. And then a warp storm, but this time even bigger. Look at it go. Now that is quite a damning thing to take part in. And there you see a Pillar of the World End, which, if I look at it from the perspective of the Chaos Marines... Are you even destroying things over here? Yes, you are. Crazy. Absolute bonkers. Does less damage against buildings, obviously, but... yeah, so from these Pillars of the World End, you're able to summon whatever kind of demons you like. And they just go about their wicked and foul business. And just look at the spread of that. That's just redonkulous stuff. So if you don't kill everything, which you probably will, but even if you don't kill everything, you can gradually break things down with your demons. Just look at the aesthetics of it. It's just lovely, very warp stormish. The battlefield covered in the slain and the dying, as just absolute hell and carnage wake up about you, sir. Very nice, like that stuff. Okay, let's look at the Chaos Demons, shall we, while we're here. Okay then, so here we are with the Chaos Demons. They're up against the Eldar, which again is quite thematic. So they've got quite similar endgame options. They've got their Warp Storm and they've got their Warp Storm of the World End. But they also have a Raise Planet, which essentially... there was a tooltip before I captured the critical location and went for a Warp Gate. I'm not doing it again because Crisis video, recording-wise, is going quite long for me. But essentially, it does loads of negative stuff. It's not a happy time for the Eldar. So I'll research that bad boy. Oh, the tooltips came back, never mind. So cooks everything alive that is not demonic. If the super weapon never gets fired, game over unless stopped by a miracle. Basically, yeah, it just infinite missiles in length. It just kills everything. So we'll press the button. Let's see what happens. So summoning in from the Nightmare Altar. What are you firing at? You're just going to... oh, okay, fair enough. Just set everything on fire. Oh, that's brilliant. That's amazing. So it forces the Eldar into a big kickflip, doing initial damage and then gradual fire damage over time. So yeah, so the after effect doesn't kill everything straight away, but it will just gradually, eventually kill everything, which is I quite like this because it almost gives the enemy hope. Oh, does it? Huh. Well, I suppose, in all fairness, that initial first blast would kill everything, wouldn't it? But actually, I was expecting it to just be like, oh, mind you, are you gradually... Ah, you're gradually dying over time. So all the buildings gradually die over time. Anything that was hit... Oh no, and these guys are dying over time. Right, okay. Oh, where are you guys going? Where are you off? Lord of mercy on my mortal. Okay, fair enough. I was expecting that effect would finish. But no, this is the infinite backflip super weapon. There's one poor, lonely, dire Avenger surviving here. he's on a mission on his own. There's nothing left to give. He's going to do it for the craft world, gosh darn it. He's going to do it for the craft world, alright. But yeah, nice one. That was surprisingly a lot more comical than I was originally expecting. So, yeah, we shall move on to the next factions. Okay then, so going for the wicked ways of the Eldar. Now you'll notice that in their Eldritch Spire, which is where they get their super weapons, they've got a couple of little options. They've also got the Destruction Stone, which allows you to do the big, bad damage. They've also got the Infinity Resource Stone, in case you just need more resources. But I imagine that by this time in the game, you've probably already got all the resources that you need. But, you know, it happens sometimes. They've also got like a Shroud, makes everything invisible, but whatever. We're not here for making things invisible. We're here for making things disappear. Now they've got a couple of options here. They have got an Eldritch Cannon, which I imagine, it says exactly what it says on the tin. Pop it down there. Couple little boopy bits of sound, and then... explosions? Question mark? There we go. It's just a massive storm of some description. Yeah, look at that. Ho 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 ho! From blue to red to purple to blue and back to red again. Nice one. Absolutely annihilating everyone. Seeing some people just flying over here. It's what you love to see. Nice one. Does the other thing require... Ah, it requires a cooldown. Right, hold on, I'll be right back. Okay then, so here we are back again. So we've done the Eldritch Cannon, which is just basically one big blast. Next one is the Eldritch Tempest, which essentially electrocutes everything within a 90-meter radius. Also, after it does damage, renders people idle, and they lose health over time. So let's compare and contrast what this bad boy looks like. Oh, that's almost like a... Well, it certainly rendered everyone idle by murdering them. I like that, that's good. Does it do damage? Ah, the range isn't quite as substantive as everything else, but... it's certainly getting these people over there as they're crossing the river. Not bad at all. So the initial blast kills everyone, and then the remaining blasts do damage over time, which is... Yep, that's the Fury of the Eldar right there. Not bad. It goes on for quite some time as well. I wonder if the damage is more substantial in the centre rather than on the outskirts, because on the outside you've got all these little lightning things, but on the inside you've got all these big blue and red circles. It looks terrifying. I mean, it's even giving us a little screen shake, just to show how absolutely immense it is. Hope you don't have motion sensitivity for your eyes, or whatever you would call that. Motion sickness. Motion sensitivity, that is a game setting. We are not robots. Okay, fair enough, Mr. Landshark. We are all humans. Yeah, that goes on for ages. And what an area of effect it has as well. So, nice. Okay, we've got one more thing to do. That is the Eldritch Cataclysm. So let's see how that... Oh, no, sorry. Not quite finished yet. We've got one more little blip there. But okay, one more thing to go. Let's see how the Eldar works. Okay then, so the Eldar big ability, Eldritch Cataclysm, you research that in the Soul Shrine, which is up here. Quite expensive, but we'll go for it anyway. Well, obviously we will, because that's the whole purpose of this video. So Eldritch Cataclysm destroys most everything in its path while flinging infantry up in the air, killing them slowly within a 60-meter radius. Health is drained over time. The Cataclysm must be engaged with the enemy or ally forces, so we can kill our own people if we really want to. So we'll research that. We'll see what it's doing.
We will fulfill.
Oh, it's an actual unit. Okay, all right. So we'll just summon you round here and see what you do. Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. Oh god, make it stop. That's glorious. Alright, so when it's not killing people, it loses health. When it kills people, it then... That's not bad. That's like the Imperial's... Whatever you call it, that thing where you move the thing around, so this one's like the super duper version of it. So not bad at all. Just does a mean bit of damage towards buildings as well. Yeah, just absolutely annihilating. So you could probably... I don't know if like people can like fire at this to reduce its health, but we'll see how long the effect goes for. I can't imagine it lasts forever. But I assume it does. Because if this is the super weapon to end all super weapons for the Eldar, that's what you'd imagine would happen. Love the swirling vortex effects on it as well. I did upgrade the Desecrate Stronghold to being like maximum level. Not maximum, like 1 from maximum. See how much it can take. And yeah, that structure can take a bit of damage, but nothing else is surviving at the moment. I suppose it's like a win button in the sense that if you're playing against a person with like a really low quality PC, and they can't handle all the effects, you can throw this at them and just make their PC blow up with fire. But these guys are still alive though. They are still alive. What if we go for a second pass? How long will you guys survive? No. I mean, you're not going to be useful. But let's put it that way. You're going to be constantly on your backside. Yeah, no, and then when it starts firing... That's glorious. It's a wonderfully, aesthetically pleasing ability. Very Eldarish as well. Lovely teal blues in there. Alright, okay, I think we've seen what the Eldar can bring to bear. Let's see what the other factions have. Alright then, boys and girls, so here we have the Great Pyramid, where loads of great things happen. We need to upgrade it several times to be able to engage its super weapon Annihilator and the Cataclysmic Obliterator. So we'll go through it. We'll bring it up, and I do quite like the initial, as you start building things up, it starts like extending itself even more. And once you get to tier 2 of this Great Pyramid, it starts just firing shit at everyone, which is really tasty to look at. Although, can I pause you? Yeah, stop firing at people. Also, Great Pyramids, leave these people alone. Can I tell you to stop firing as well? Yes, just come on. We need good target practice for this. You're all still alive. Nice one. Bring the ladies over as well. Right, so you are... What are you doing? You are... Oh, Super Weapon Annihilator. Right, sorry, I've had a bit to drink while we're doing this. This video's taken me currently about an hour and a half to get through. So, you'll notice as the video goes on, my articulate nature dwindles somewhat. But okay, so we've got the Super Weapon Annihilator, basically one big beam in the middle that destroys things. So let's see how this goes. Starts off almost like the Necron Lord when he teleports around everywhere. Slow but surely expanding around everywhere until eventually it just absolutely... Fwah. That's delicious. That's not bad. They really, really do capture the wonderful green baleful glow of a lot of the Necron stuff. It's a nice one. Let's bring some more ladies in the middle. Why not? We'll give them some more lasses and brasses to bring to the centre. You restore Monolith. You just chill out there. And we just need to further upgrade things. Oh, we need to do other things. Hold on. Oh my goodness, this is the one structure, for some reason, where in dev mode, there's an auto build. Christ, well, we're here. At least looks aesthetically pleasing when you're building it. Well, I suppose while I'm waiting for this to build, let's see what the Great Pyramid can do when I turn ceasefire off. I've aimed it at this ecclesiastical chapel over here. Powers up. There's a big green ball of goodness. Doesn't seem to do all that much damage against buildings. I imagine if I target the ecclesiastical servitor... Yep. You're knackered. A couple of shots from that. And I imagine you've got like a whole squad of lads there as well. That'd ruin your day as well. Nice one. All right, okay. So we've got all the tiers, we've got all the buildings that we need. We've done our last bit of research, and you notice there's this wonderful little effect around the Great Pyramid, which just looks really intimidating. Last thing we need is grid, also production grid research. So we'll stick this bad boy on. And now, do we not need that? What do you mean by that we don't need that? What else do we need? Oh, it's this one. Right, okay, sorry. Wrong one. Silly me. And there we go, our win button. So we've got our ecclesiarchal chapel over here. Hopefully it'll let us witness more stuff. But can I stick you way in the corner? Nah, let's just about here. And as the Necrons bring on their big super weapons to bear. A little bit of anticipation, a little bit of waiting time. A little bombardment going on before just a huge explosion, expanse of green, just annihilating everything in its path. Wow, look at that. Does not much damage to anything far away, but anything in the center. In fact, it's even destroyed a couple of our monoliths down here. Destroyed all the ladies in the middle, if they were there. I can't quite remember. Like I say, I'm quite drunk now. But yeah, I would say that probably the Necrons have got the most nice. Their super weapons are, for what they are, and for the aesthetics, they're just the most Necronish. And I think for all the super weapons, they look the most appropriate for their faction. That or the Chaos. Chaos has got like a really good aesthetics towards their super weapons as well. Cool, okay, let's move on to the next faction. Okay then, so here we are with the Tau. Their super weapons come from an ion cannon, which I must say is quite the beast. Look at that bad boy. Big old cannon ready to fire. Now, strangely enough, the random has given us more Tau to fire at, so clearly there's a civil war going on, so we'll get our super weapons on the go. I imagine, looking at the... Oh, so it'll start firing now. Can you fire at these boys in the middle? What kind of damage do you do, Mr. Super Ion Cannon? It's a while to set up, but once it sets up, fires in the center. Oh! Yeah. That's a lot of death and destruction. Fair enough. 2 strikes, and then the down. Okay, alright, we'll put you on ceasefire then. So our first one is an ion nuke, which I imagine is exactly the same as all the other nukes. It just does lots and lots of damage in the middle. All these fire warriors are on the way in. So let's see how they fare against a Tau Empire nuke. Oh, that is... Where are you firing, young man? We're using some sort of orbital mirror. And it's quite intimidating for what it is. Not bad at all. Got that same nuclear kind of effect, that little mushroom cloud going on earlier that we saw. Very nice, very tasty. Okay, what else have you got to bring to the table? Okay, so we've got the cannon overcharge endgame research. We'll have a quick little ganders at that. And then, oh, thank goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Ave Maria. It doesn't have the same cooldown as the ion nuke. Nice one. I've got an additional, like, it's like damage over time kind of stuff. Oh, so it leaves, like, nuclear residue about. Oh, that's interesting. Let's move these guys a little bit further back there, mind you, because we want to make sure that we don't have to blow ourselves up too quickly. So overcharge the ion cannon, allowing it to fire its ion blast at rapid fire, critically damaging objects. Well, that's fit. Oh, I see. Oh, right, it's a firing mode. So we then toggle off ceasefire to fire at things. Does damage to itself over time by the looks of things, but does even more damage. What are you doing? Are you just glowing? Oh, no. Well, Lord, oh, God. Or some sort of pigeon in the air has probably been absolutely devastated by now then. Oh, that's what you've done, right. Yep, fair enough. So you just kill everything from the certain area. It's a bit damaged. We can repair that there, that's fine. So that's just... That'll just keep on going until everything's dead, which makes total sense. Okay, I mean, it's I'll be honest, it's not as flashy as what I was expecting. But then again, to be honest, it's kind of like a balance in the sense that the super weapon building itself, while maybe their last ability is not the most impressive, the fact that it can fire, much like the Imperial Guard Basilisk Magnum Opus, or whatever you call that. I forgot what that building's called. Also, on a side note, not super weapon orientated, but I do like how in Ultimate Apocalypse, the Tau have to build their Kion command post and their Montka command post to get into the higher tiers. So it's not a case of you commit to one or the other. You've got both, which I quite like. That's nice. That is a good, positive thing. Anyway, I do believe that is all the things. So let's move on to the next faction. Okay, so here we are with the Dark Eldar. Now, one of their abilities, I mean, they've just got like a bajillion million, that there's so many that you can get from the Great Cabal Citadel, which is, I mean, they say that size doesn't mean everything, but I mean, clearly the Dark Eldar did not get that memo. So, I've got a couple of things. I've got like summon a soul portal, which is just summon a portal. It's nothing too fancy or mega, but one thing that I want to look at is this super weapon soul cataclysm. It costs 2,000 or 200,000, 200,000, 20,000, 200,000 souls. So we need to collect all that straight up. But from our natural ability bar, we've got the annihilation beam. So I'm gonna throw that down on these unsuspecting Inquisition boys and see what that looks like. It's quite intimidating. It's, oh yes, that's not bad at all. What are the curvature of a lot of those missiles? Quite a good range in it as well. Not too long, not too fancy. It leaves a nice little smirk ring at the end. Something for Gandalf to smirk a ship through. It's quite nice. But yeah, we need more souls, gosh darn it. We need infinite more souls, chaps. Get involved, get part of it. Get to work. Because Christ, we need the souls, gosh darn it. In fact, I might actually turn off these infinite slave things. That's one thing I do quite like about the slave chambers for the Dark Eldar. It costs not much money, but you've still got to be conscious and mindful of it. But yeah, we'll try the Soul Cataclysm next. Oh, go on then. Before we try that Soul Cataclysm, let's see what that ability is about. The overcharged bombardment. Why not? I've activated it. Gonna do a thing. Oh, okay, yep, it's like the other like asteroid bombardment kind of abilities where it's just a case of absolutely smashing everything nearby. Lovely AoE range as well, which is quite nice. Doesn't seem to be killing these guys all that well. It's more, I guess, for just general unit disruption. We'll kill them eventually. We're not as endgame-ish as some of the super weapons. We also have one other thing as well, the Great Cabal Citadel. Also fire as well. It's basically got like infinite range. It looks at whatever buildings that are nearby, and it's basically slowly but surely whittles their way down. So once you built that bad boy, you'll get that eventually. And it basically shoots at everything, more or less, from what I can tell. We'll switch that off, because I want to see what the main thing does. So we'll see you in the next half an hour or so, I guess. All right, Christ, Jesus. I mean, don't get me wrong, like well done, boys, for working so hard. You've certainly earned your bread and biscuits there, but turns out to get to the ability where you're able to buy the super weapon, you need to donate loads of souls to the soul cage. So it's taken a while, but we're there, baby. We're there. Got the super weapon. We need to research it. It's here. It's there. So let's oh, I don't want to spend all it. If I summon it there and it kills everything instantly, this would be a waste of time. So apologies. I'm going to stick it here, and it might not kill everything instantly, but like I don't want to do that again. Christ! Oh my goodness! Look at that, sexy as all hell. Damages everything nearby. It's like a. You know what? The Dark Eldar super weapons is basically a great big disco, isn't it? That is something special. Very similar to the Eldar ability, with a much wider range for bad stuff going on. Lovely, wonderful purple smoke effects. Going up against anything and everything that I can see. Very nice. What does it look like from the POV of a Inquisition dude? Yep, not a happy time. Although, like for internally, it almost looks like a constellation of stars. Well, again, that is a Dark Eldar aesthetic, isn't it? It's very deadly, but kind of sexy in the same way. Yeah. Not bad. God, where was that guy going? This guy just like bouncing around in the middle. In fact, can we turn over to this side and summon some more dudes? Bring them over here. Can we see what they look like as they are dying? Or archivists, anyway. Just someone. Yep, look at these guys. They're like, whoa, where are we going? I know super weapons are meant to be really intimidating and scary, and oh my goodness, the world is ending. But it is quite funny. Where are you guys going? You're off on your own travels. That is horrific and hilarious at the same time. Alright, that's Dark Eldar. Let's move on. Jesus, oh, that took so long. Anyway, that's Dark Eldar. Let's move on to the next team. Okay then, so for the Tyranids, they've got a couple of options. They've got planetary bombardment. The entire planet is covered in meteors and blah blah blah, this, that and the other. It's quite, from what I understand, quite standard from what we've seen before. Things are dropped on things. But then at the end, I do believe that at the critical points, there we go, a capillary tower is summoned on the ground, ripping apart structures in their path. So quite a wide... Jeez, oh bloody hell, that's quite a wide, expansive... I mean... Okay, so a lot more expansive than the other bombardments we've seen before. That will go on for a little while. And then a capillary tower, much like this, will spawn somewhere in the middle. So we'll just watch this. Dark Eldar trying to make their way back over here. Does a lot of damage to infantry units as well, which is quite interesting. Oh, nice. Oh, right in the middle there. Oh, I see. So it goes quite extensively all around everywhere. Then does a big thing in the middle. And yeah, look at that. Glorious. So yeah, general damage over time around an area. Then focus on the middle and then summons these bad boys. Quite tasty stuff, I must have to say. Now, when it comes to their research for other things that they can do super weapon-wise, where are you? You are in the manipulation hive. We've got a few things. We've got endgame research, erect ground, summon the hive fleet, and claim the world. So erect ground, well, ah shit, I need to go for... Oh my goodness, thank God. Oh, I've captured the critical location. That's fine. That means we've got that. We can now go for these things. So, got erect ground, which means that we can do some things. So, allows the terraforming of the ground nearby a capillary tower, creating capillary vein. So let's do this. Central point here. Look at that. That bad boy turns up. Has all these additional things. So, sight nerd increases keen sight, regeneration, speeds up production of all buildings within 90 meters, and field sign up. So essentially, you build a capillary tower, you build all these capillary veins, and it has a massive AoE effect of everything, which is quite nice. You're literally terraforming the planet for Tyranid needs. The next thing we have is summon the hive fleet, which I do believe... Oh, no, it's a blooming... There's a cooldown ability. Okay, well, let's see. What is this one? Claim the world. Is that also a cooldown ability? Where do I get you? Where is the claim the world ability? Hold on. Ah, okay, so the endgame research claim the world, it just basically makes... decreases line of sight for the enemy's health and moral regeneration by 10, which is quite decent. The moral and armor, it just does loads of bad things to everyone. And it lasts until everyone dies, which is quite cool. Also makes every unit from the hive mind free to produce and spammable. So there's a hive mind thing is the thing that we're going to be researching next when we have Apocalypse Tier 5, which we need the critical location for. Come on, Gaunt Eye, or Spine Gaunts, or whatever you're called. We'll summon you as well. Just get some blooming Eldar warriors in the mix as well. But yeah, that should be ready anytime soon. Oh, I don't know about you guys, but it's taken a fair while. This video, I don't know how long it will be at the end, but for me, this has been an entire evening's worth of recording. Looking at my OBS, it's taken me about maybe 2.5 hours to get all this sorted. What I should have done is research all the factions and then attempt to do it. But then the research itself would have also taken quite a while, so it doesn't work all in the grand scheme of things. So, right, can I research you now? Right, there we go. Pop you in there. So if you appreciate the effort, gosh darn it, please do. At least throw a comment, like, and subscribe just for the... I never ever beg for that kind of stuff, but just for the sheer amount of effort I put into this, surely I deserve it this time. Anyway, the Tyranid's super weapon spawned the hive fleet, so what we're going to do is we're going to pop a thing down here. There's summon a big old thing, which does damage to everyone over time, as well as be a recruitment thing. So you could it's quite literally bring the horde, which I absolutely love. Now, obviously, if we had like a bigger squad cap, this would be a lot more intimidating. But imagine you've got your capillary towers everywhere that are giving these guys buffs. You've got your world-ending thing to reduce these guys' effectiveness. I think, not necessarily aesthetically, I don't quite like how it's like just raining shite down from the sky, but from the perspective of faction theme, I would say this is the most thematic. Well, with the exception of maybe the Demon Hunter's Exterminatus. That was pretty fantastic. But yeah, you throw down the hive fleet, brings all the creatures to the floor, and then that's it. Now, while we're watching these guys get absolutely murdered by everything that we know and love. In fact, why am I spawning all the small things? Bring out the Hellfexes, bring out whatever we could bring out. So, before this, I tried to bring out... well, I tried to do the Orcs super weapons. But for whatever reason, whenever I try and do a dev testing mode game, the Orcs aren't... the game just doesn't work, the game crashes. So what I'm going to do is, in the links below, I'm going to send you to a game that features the Orcs doing some nuclear nonsense. I don't know if they've got any other super weapons available in this version of the game. I just can't do it for some reason. For whatever reason, I can't seem to make this work. So yeah, that's essentially every faction barring the Orcs. We've done it. That's it. That's all you're getting from me this evening. So also, by the by, Ultimate Apocalypse people, if you're the devs, if you're watching this and you want to basically copy and paste this video onto your ModDB page, like if for like whatever reason, just to showcase your super weapons, by all means, please do, because anything to make this mod bigger and more successful, by all means, please do. Use my body in whatever way you see fancy and fit. Anyway, right, so if you like the channel, please do have a look at the old Patreon. £1 a month gets you one extra game of Dawn of War a week. And also have a Discord, where Discord things are happening. We're currently running a Horus Heresy PvP campaign, so please give that a look. My name's Miss Landshark. Pleasure as always, never chore. I will see you in a bit. Peace.